Code 4140. Oh, what fun!
I was a very serious child. Instead of playing princess, I played tax accountant. Oh, yeah, silly bands. No laughing matter. My American Girl doll was Margaret Mildred Kittredge, who grew up in the Great Depression and had a bob. But I was most serious about the playground. When I hit that war zone with my bedazzled Survivor Season 27 Blood versus Water buff around my head, all my competitors, classmates, knew, game on. While my fake W9s and Dust Bowl era doll are now safely in storage, I am still very serious about Survivor. In order to win, Survivor players must outwit, outlast, that guy went home, and most importantly, outplay. It seems that CBS was onto something. From parachutes to patty cake or sports to silly bands. A therapist and author Jeanne Siegel defines play as having fun in an unstructured or creative way. And the United Nations has recognized play as a human right. And yet, Charlie Hone, author of the book Play It Away, explains, in an effort to improve our kids' test scores and beef up their future resumes, we've stripped away nearly all of their free play opportunities. Play Action International furthers. To address children's right to play, we must also address the needs of adults and community play. So let's have some serious playtime and explore the science behind play, why we lack it, and its implications on modern society. When competitors on Survivor go 26 days without food, a comfortable bed, or a break from Jeff Probst's snarky smile, they go a little primal. Well, similarly, Dr. Stuart Brown, founder of the National Institute for Play, explains that just like our need to eat or sleep, our need to play is primal and essential for our bodily functions. Play, plays an important role in triggering our brain's ability to control our movement, emotions, and thoughts. Neuroscientist and author Jacques Panksepp found that when we play, the play circuits in our brain are stimulated and light up, causing nearby neurons to fire, like a light bright. And the more we play, the stronger these neuron pathways become. While many areas of our brain are pre-programmed, human DNA isn't enough to create a fully functioning cortex. So play takes over. As the National Institute for Play reports, over 70% of our brain wiring is completed by the time we are 3 years old, and play is critically important to creating that wiring. The benefits are immense. Increased production of endorphins, well-being, pain relief, and improvements in social, cognitive, emotional, and physical skills. While we don't often cast away the importance of play for children, we forget its importance in adults. Catherine Hirsch-Pask, author of the book Why They Need to Play More and Memorize Less, explains, the impact of play hasn't changed. What has changed is the stigma. We associate play with childhood, and therefore playing with childishness. Play is not only stigmatized, it's gendered. According to the Pew Research Center, men spend an average of 33.7 hours a week playing, while women spend an average of 29 hours a week playing. And this difference adds up. Men spend 5 more hours a week playing, 20 more hours a month, and 240 additional hours per year. Men even go to great lengths to create systems of play, such as golf leagues, trivia leagues, darts leagues, fantasy leagues, survivor leagues, cup stacking leagues, beer drinking leagues, League of Legends leagues, men being in a league just to be in a league. Leagues. Meanwhile, gendered expectations mean that women fall victim to other responsibilities that strip their playtime away, including unbalanced partitioning of labor in homes, social and economic restraints, and often the dependence of children on their mothers. The more roles women play, the less time they have to spend playing. And while stigma may not be a barrier for children to play, a modern lack of autonomy and creative outlets is. Because according to the American Psychological Association, free play has to do with a combination of spontaneity and unstructured, undirected activities that provide all the benefits that play offers. And yet, in his September 2023 article with the Journal of Pediatrics, Professor Peter Gray explains that nearly all forms of free play have been replaced in the last 50 years alone. Less Barbie, more TikTok. After-school soccer is kicked out for after-school study sessions, and 4 square courts. Yeah, try Fortnite. NYU professor Jonathan Haidt concludes in his book, The Anxious Generation, that we are systematically depriving children of free play. Another reason children face play deprivation is inaccessibility to space and safe play equipment. This lack of resources is defined as a play desert. These can be found across the globe. For example, as The Conversation reports, in Sydney, Australia, standard prison cells are 7.5 square meters per inmate, whereas play space is limited to 1.1 square meters per student. Back in the US, according to Lee Beeson from the University of Georgia, hundreds of counties are deemed play deserts. The main causes? Availability and affordability. And right in my home state of Minnesota, playgrounds are facing the threat of closure due to a lack of government funds, including the Cooper Elementary playground in Minneapolis. But last November, parents and kids rallied to save it, including 4th grader Piper Brown, who said, "We always have our noses in our iPhones, but to get outside and play is just a big part of our childhoods." However, the park board vote still failed. Now, these parents and their children know what Lee Beeson warns, that no access to play space and equipment equals a public health problem. And this problem isn't being voted off the island anytime soon. In fact, the root of the crisis is deepening, beginning at the beginning. Kindergarten. As the Smithsonian explains in 2017, the original kindergartens were designed for children to foster their creativity and learn by playing. Because as therapist and author Jeanne Siegel explains, play can foster empathy, compassion, and trust with others. Through play, children learn to be human. But flash forward 200 years, and blocks have been replaced by books, and rowdiness with rows. As the National Education Association explains, a stronger push for passing standardized tests means the removal of play. In fact, here in the US, the CDC recommends 20 minutes of recess per day, whereas in Finland, they are legally required to provide 15 minutes every hour. And they still manage to have one of the highest literacy rates in the world, according to 2022 OECD data. At the same time, the studies attempting to correlate kindergarten literacy and later standardized test scores are inconclusive at best. And the National Association of the Education of Young Children reports just this April that when play is removed from schools, students experienced increased stress, decreased motivation, and limited opportunities for holistic learning. And these issues translate to adulthood. As associate professor at UC San Diego School of Medicine, Dr. Stuart Brown explains, prolonged play deprivation leads to an increased risk of addiction, severe depression, narcissism, alcoholism, and even violent behaviors. As Holly Mariucci, a kindergarten teacher of 31 years, maintains, we are legislating away what we actually need: play. T-minus 97 days until the Survivor 47 premiere. And as excited as I am to see these new tribes hit the beach, I am also committed to creating a playful tribe here at home. After exploring the science behind play, some of the many ways we are deprived of it, and the ramifications of a society without, I hope we seek a different kind of immunity. One that allows us all to play. The tribe and research has spoken.